Hi everyone, I'm Sean, the creative director at briiv.
And I'm James, and I'm the managing director of briiv.
So today we wanted to answer a few questions from our community and give a bit of feedback about what's going on behind the scenes and kind of give a bit of a glimpse into the life of briiv. So I'll start off with one of the first questions. So what is briiv design based on, and what do you love about the design of briiv?
The design of briiv is based on a very contemporary, modern-looking piece of design. We wanted to keep it very true to form, so we really wanted to display what was inside of briiv. So we've got the glass element with the boss and the coconut very much on display.
So it kind of blend into your houseplants and kind of it wouldn't stand out in the home.
Yeah.
That was one of the main goals, I think.
And feel like you bring a bit of the outdoors indoors as well. So you've got the green and the ground and the earth in the coconut kind of thing. And then just based around this nice black base as a grounding for it, which is, the hemp and its grass-based roots, I suppose.
So the next one is, does it match our original design ideas?
Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose in many ways it's similar, but in terms of its form factor and the way it sits on your desk and the idea of it being a small desktop air purifier, in that respect it does. In other ways, what we've got now is very different from when we started. I think originally we were trying to put living moss in there. The base was all wood.
I think it was about this tall, wasn't it?
It was really tall. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
And just to remember, like early on, did we want to use bioplastic all the time? Was that was a grounding, wasn't it, as well?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. So we had the material. We had our bioplastic material made from the elephant grass fibers. That was always like a primary thing that we wanted to use. It was like really. It still is very much cutting edge, and no one's really done it before. So trying to incorporate that in there has always been a primary driver for us. But especially this ring around here, originally, I mean, this was all wood, wasn't it? Before we moved over to using hemp and making it this sort of slightly softer, breathable segment.
We spent so many weeks and weeks trying to make wooden rings.
Yeah, because it was all laser cut out, so it was like many little ribs, very Scandinavian sort of design style. But unfortunately, it was just. It was really difficult, wasn't it?
It was really difficult, really expensive.
Yes.
Probably not very sustainable either. Like
no, really, yeah.
Like the shapes that were laser cut, it's not exactly economical to do that.
Yeah, plywood isn't necessarily particularly great for the environment either, on the grand scheme of things. It looked nice.
It looked really nice.
I think this looks better though. The finished result on this
Absolutely.
looks better. It's more consistent, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And, you don't get splinters when you touch it either. So.
It's true. It looks a lot nicer in the living room.
Yeah.
It blends it. So the next one's a production question. So how do you feel briiv's campaign on Kickstarter went, and how important was it to make briiv a reality?
Oh, the Kickstarter is fundamental. So fundamental. We couldn't have done it without the Kickstarter, 100%. There was nobody that believed in us that much, and especially when we launched it as well. We were in the middle of a pandemic. It was a real challenge.
We got everything ready, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was just like, brilliant, we're ready to go. And then, what's this about COVID?
Yeah. Because we started planning for this campaign in 2019, so COVID wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even on the radar. So we'd always planned to launch around March time. I think things got pushed back into April, kind of.
Yeah. Because it's been in development for at least a year prior to that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So all the development work was done well in advance. It was just, So I think it was quite lucky that it did as well as it did, really, in the time that we had, and the fact that we were working from home and it was all over the place. So.
Yeah, when we couldn't film properly and put the video together remotely.
Yeah. It was a real challenge. So very pleased with how it went, I think.
So the next question is, how have you overcome the delays caused by the pandemic?
So that actually rolls in quite nicely from the last one, actually. Thankfully, we've been running on Indiegogo on the pre-order, and that's allowed us, that's given us like continual because backers have continued giving us that funding that's allowed us to get over a lot of the problems.
It's thanks to the crowd that we're still here.
Yeah, it really is.
100%.
Yeah, because we don't have any background investors, so that's...
Yeah, it's all you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the major issues like the microchip shortage.
Yeah, I think that's probably been our biggest challenge.
When some of the components started, like the scarcity ramped up and the prices, some of the prices were like 10 times what they should be. But we're through that now. We did it. We
are through that. Oh, there's a bit of background. There's anyone who's like, what's a microchip shortage? Because it's not necessarily wide known what that is. So basically, because COVID shut a lot of the production plants, across the world where they make microchips, basically. But everybody still wanted to buy things online and people still selling computer devices and things. So the knock-on effect of the microchips didn't happen until very early part of this year, where that really started to cause a lot of issues. And it basically meant there were no chips anywhere. You couldn't build any electronic device unless you were very lucky and you used very standardized things.
Yeah, and that's directly affecting the car market now, which is why it's really hard to get new cars.
Yeah.
Do you feel being UK based has added to your success?
The nice thing about crowdfunding is that we sell to people all over the world. So we've got a lot of people that have bought briiv in America and Japan and all over the world, really, all over Europe. So
it's easy to name the countries that we've not sold into, so that's quite good.
Yeah, it is actually, yeah. At the minute, being in the UK is quite nice because we are obviously able to sit down and be in the same room, whereas I know other countries are still in lockdown and things. So we're fortunate in that respect.
So the next question is, what did it feel like sending out the first briiv to the early backers?
Well, it took so long to get there. It was a huge sigh of relief to finally be able to send it out. I know everyone was very asking us all the time when we were going to send them out and very much pushing us to start the process. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding that we are just sitting around not doing anything and not dealing with any of the problems and things like that. Whereas it's completely opposite. We're just as desperate to start sending them out as everyone else is to get them a lot of the time. So even now, as we're fulfilling the campaign currently, I kind of want it just to be done all tomorrow, but unfortunately.
It is great seeing loads of boxes go out every single day though.
Yeah, it is. It is
so
really
good.
Great, yeah.
Because it was such a large bit of time where it was just grinding through it, wasn't it? And just
waiting for things to turn up and
hearing about more delays and
and nothing can ship until everything's arrived. So you're waiting for the smallest components. Really trivial will just slow things down.
Everything's ready, but we've got to wait for a microchip.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Or just a piece of paper. The manuals that go inside them. Things like that. Everything that's. It all needs to be in line before we can get going on it.
Yeah.
It's a huge amount of satisfaction and relief when they started being sent out for me.
Okay, next question. As a small business, what have been your greatest successes in getting briiv shipped out worldwide?
I think just overcoming the issues with actually international shipping. Because briiv is quite a large unit, and we built briiv and costed it and worked it all out in a non-COVID world. So the cost of actually shipping a unit that we charged for originally on Kickstarter has gone up like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So trying to get anywhere near that rate and being able to afford to ship them has been really hard work, actually.
Next question is on feedback. So, what have been some of your favourite comments, reviews, or feedback about briiv? I know for me, a lot of the comments that I really like is when I see someone thanking us for doing this, creating a product out of bioplastics and pushing that forward, really.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get that admiration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see people that sort of really recognise that, and yeah.
'Cause this is hard.
Yes.
It's really hard to do.
Yeah, it's a lot more difficult than just making things out of conventional plastics or materials and just the normal way of designing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the great feedback, we've had some great feedback because we've been on a few podcasts as well, doing interviews, and it's just great to get that feedback and that just people appreciating that this is a bit different. You know, we are trying to do something that's good for the environment, and it still looks great in the home as well. I mean, that was always the thing. You look at it and you don't necessarily think there's an eco-friendly product. You look at it and you think that's a nice looking thing. Yeah. What does it do?
What is that?
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's, you know. It's
but it causes a conversation. It's like, oh, cool. What's all this stuff?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people really do appreciate the design. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
So next question: did you expect briiv to be as successful as it currently is?
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect it to be as successful as it has been. I mean, you hope things are going to go well, especially when it takes so much effort to do.
Yeah.
But I think we've had our fair share of things that don't necessarily go to plan, especially with the pandemic as well. You just don't really know how well things are going to go. All the struggles we've had and are still having, really.
I mean, I wanted it to be successful, but I didn't fully appreciate the scope of like, okay, wow, this is really getting us somewhere now.
Yeah. I think it was when we went into the thousands of units sold.
Yes.
For me.
Yeah. And you start kind of figuring out, oh, okay, we're in the thousands now. That means that's a lot of boxes. That's a lot of things to ship. And it started like the realism hit me. It was like, oh, okay, right. It's getting big now. Let's start planning properly.
We can start planning properly.
I'm joking.
I was planning well from the start.
Yeah, that's true.
I just, but yeah.
Okay, the next question is on our awards. Okay, so what are some of the biggest awards briiv has won?
I mean, that's the Red Dot, isn't it?
I think so.
That's the Red Dot award. I mean, I think the A design is pretty well distinguished. Getting a gold A design award, pretty proud of that as well.
And there's the Wired Gear of the Year.
The Wired Gear of the Year award. It came out of nowhere. When we didn't apply for that or anything, they just did that off their own back. So that was really great to see a publication taking an interest as well and going at that. But still, as designers, I think the Red Dot is the pinnacle. I mean, this is something that we've designed other products for other people that have gone on to achieve those accolades. But to actually have that one accredited to our name is...
This can go on the LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, and it really proves that the judges and things like that, they appreciate what we've done with the materials and doing something a little bit different.
I think we might have answered the next question. Which award means the most to you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I would say we probably...
Next. Okay, so what award or awards would you love to win in the future? So I'd really like to start being like some more sustainable awards and get into that whole scene a bit more, because we've not... The awards we've got are amazing, but yeah, it'd be really nice to get a bit more into the Sustainable Design Awards.
What Sustainable Design Awards are there? Like a green dot?
No, it doesn't exist. We should make a green dot award.
If anyone
wants to make a green dot award, we will enter that award.
Are you sure there's not a green dot? Sounds like there should be a thing.
We'll Google it and probably put it in the comments below or something. Okay, so that's been the creators of briiv, Sean Sykes and James Whitfield. And that's it for the questions for today. And if you have any more questions at all, just put them in the comments below and we'll try and answer them in the next video.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for watching.